Hello loves, Kristen here. I am the founder of Roots of Radiance Reiki, and I'm also an energy healer, a Reiki teacher, and an embodiment coach. And today I want to lead us through a quick energy activity to get grounded and to clear some energies so that we can move through our day without carrying stuff from the past that we don't need to carry. And without feeling untethered, right? Grounding to me is probably one of the most important energy techniques that I use. And it is important because when we are grounded, we are not as easily swayed by external forces. We're living in an outrageous world right now where every time that I look at the news or hear about things that are going on high levels, it enrages me, right? It makes me feel mad. It makes me feel hopeless. It makes me feel sad. And these big emotions are super valid, right? For me, at least, anger helps to guide me, right? Anger shows me where action needs to be taken, right? And sadness, right? Grief, despair. There is medicine in that opening, right? Because to feel grief, to feel despair, to feel sad means that we have a deep connection with our heart, right? It means that our heart is open. It means that we are breaking open more. And while some might see that as a bad thing, right? We think of something being broken as bad. I see that as a beautiful thing because we're unfolding. We are opening ourselves more to what is possible. We're allowing our hearts to open so that we feel the grief as opposed to closing down and shutting down. And hopelessness is a really hard one, for me at least, because it is easy to get stuck there. And yet, when I get grounded, when I connect with the earth, right, when I allow my energy to reattune to the energy of this planet by sending roots down, by grounding, by getting my feet on the ground, by listening to the wind, by staring at a plant, by doing these things, these earthing techniques, these grounding techniques, the hopelessness can soften because I become connected to powers and forces that are so much bigger than myself, right? It's almost, it gives me a perspective of time, of essence, right? Where when we connect in with the earth, when we connect in with the universe, when we connect in with these bigger powers, we get a message of persistence. We get a message of everlasting, right? This persistence, right? Because I've been alive for like a millisecond in comparison to how long this planet has been here, to how long some of these mountains have been here, to how long some of these rivers have flown, to how long some of these trees have been rooted. And so when I give myself an opportunity to connect in with the wisdom of the planet, of the rivers, of the mountains, of the trees, right? I am reminded that this is just like a blip in time. And I don't say that to discount our efforts. I don't say that to discount anything that's happening. I do that to try to anchor in to some perspective, because when we have a narrow focus on time, right, even our own lives, if we think, okay, a really long life is 100 years. If we think of 100 years as the time that something needs to come to completion, to fruition, we forget, right? We forget that islands take millennia for volcanoes to build them, right? We forget that it takes hundreds and thousands of years for forests to develop, right? We forget that our perspective of time is not the only perspective. And so I say all this to say that getting grounded and clearing our energy can help us approach this day with vitality and freshness, and also with a sense of holding both like the impact that we're going to have in one day and the fullness that a day is but like a second in like the time of the universe. And so it gives us some softness, right? Where we can maybe take some of the pressure off ourselves, right? Maybe take some of the urgency off of ourselves. Okay. So I just said a lot. So I invite you to maybe take your eyes away from the screen, look around the space that you're in. It's a really poignant practice for helping our nervous systems to settle, for helping our minds to come back in to this current space and time, right? Our minds love to time travel forward, backwards, and into all of these other what if lands. And so looking around our space, noticing what is around us, not attaching to it, not judging it, just noticing it, noticing the colors, maybe noticing something that's shiny or bright, noticing something that's pleasing, right? We're not attaching to these things. We're just letting our environment anchor us. It's a really potent practice for grounding, looking around our space. So many of us stare at our screens all the time that our energy bodies, our nervous systems, our minds, we forget where we are. We forget where we are because we're so absorbed in the world of our screens. And so taking our eyes away from our screens and anchoring into our physical space is super potent. Again, we don't need to anchor in, like attached to what's around us. If we're, maybe in our room and it's a mess, or we're maybe, somewhere that's not super pleasing. The point is really just to remember where we are, to feel some containment, and maybe find one thing in the space that's pleasing. Maybe that's a color, maybe that's a shape, maybe it's a plant. And we can access this practice anytime. Anytime we can access this practice, and it can offer us some grounding, and it can bring us back to this moment. So when you feel complete with that, you can continue to stare at that pleasing thing for this whole guided practice, or you can let your eyes come to a soft close or kind of gaze down at the ground. We're going to connect in with our breath here. I invite you to take a couple breaths in, either through your nose or through your mouth, whatever feels comfortable, just allowing air to enter your body. And as you breathe here, I want you to have some sounding with your exhale. Maybe that's a sigh. Maybe that's, right? Just give yourself permission to make some sound as you exhale. The sounding can be very, very nourishing for our nervous system. It can help us downregulate. It can help us calm. It can help us release. So let's take 2 more breaths like that, breathing in and just letting yourself make some sound here. One more. Beautiful. And then from this place where we're a little bit more connected with our bodies, we're a little bit more grounded in space, I invite you to imagine that you can send roots out through the base of your spine, out from the bottoms of your feet, sides of your hips and knees. Just imagine that these roots of yours are growing and extending down into the planet. Send them down. Imagine them grow, stretch out wide and deep. And just breathe here, feeling your energy drop down, connecting down with your root, connecting down with the planet. Just allowing your energy to drop down into those roots. And with your roots firmly planted, I invite you to imagine that they can grow deeper and deeper, pushing through layers of rock and crystal, pushing through nutritious earth, pushing down through ancient caverns and waterways, deep down into the center of the earth. Your roots Oh, they grow all the way down to the center of the earth, and that molten core of this planet beckons and invites your roots to wrap themselves around this beautiful molten core. Imagine yourself doing this now. Feel that deep connection with the planet. Feel that deep connection with that molten lava core. Maybe even feel all of the others on this planet who are also rooting down and mingling their roots with the core. Feel your connection to them as well as the planet here. Yeah, take a few breaths, just tuning in, letting yourself attune to that deep connection which we've forgotten, that sacred oneness. And then as you feel ready, I invite you on your next exhale to imagine that anything that doesn't serve you is moving out from your root. Send it down. Anything that doesn't serve you, just send it down. Send it down into the earth with your exhale. Send it down into the earth with your exhale. Giving it to the planet. Trusting the planet to hold it. Trusting the planet to transform it. With each exhale, letting yourself just release a little bit more. Letting go a little bit more. Letting it go. Letting it all go. And then as you feel ready, once you feel like you've completely released what you need to, go ahead on your next inhale. Imagine that you can breathe in the life force energy of this earth. Pull it up through your roots, all the way up into your body. Feel it move into your body and all the way up to the crown of your head. Again, breathing in, pulling that life force energy up from below. Pulling that energy up from below, all the way up into your body. Let that earthly life force energy fill your entire body, all the way up to the crown of your head. Breathe it in. One more like that. Go ahead and breathe in. Pull that life force energy up from the ground. Let it fill your entire body. And if you wish here, you can sink into a slight rhythm here. Breathing in, pulling life force energy up from below. Breathing out to release anything you want to let go of. Again, breathing in, feeling nutritious, earthly energy move up, up, up into your body, filling you up. And as you exhale, letting go of anything that doesn't serve you. Another breath in here, inviting that life force, earthly energy up, up, up into your body, feeling it fill you up all the way to your fingertips and toes. And on your exhale, let go of anything else that doesn't serve you. I invite you to take a few more breaths like this, inviting earthly energy to fill you with your inhales and letting go of anything that doesn't serve you with your exhales. And when you feel ready, I invite you to drop your awareness back down to your root, your sacral space, that space between your hips, between your pelvis. And as your awareness drops there, I invite you to imagine that this earthly energy that's moving up into your body through your roots is activating that creative life force center. reinvigorating it. You can even imagine that space where your pelvis is like a beautiful golden bowl. And with every breath in, where you're gathering that earthly energy, it's being caught in that bowl, in your sacral space, in your womb center, in your core. And you're gathering this earthly energy there in your creative life force center so that you can co-create what you came here to create, so that you have access to the infinite creative power of this universe, so that you have support from the material world to manifest your dreams and your creative might, allowing the energy to build in that creative center, imagining that earth energy moving up into your body and filling the bowl that is your pelvis, that is your sacral space, that is your creative life force center. Feeling that area rejuvenated and rebuilt. And from this space, I invite you to call forth one thing that you're working on creating right now. This can be something in your personal life, something in business, something in one of your relationships. Just call it forth. Visualize it. Visualize this dream that you're working on manifesting, this creative endeavor that you're working on birthing. Visualize it. And then as you feel ready, imagine that you can plant that seed in your sacral space. Where it's planted in your center, receiving all the nutrients that it needs from the earth and from you. Feel it planted there. And then send it a little love. And then once more, let's connect down with our roots, sending gratitude out through our roots to the planet, sending love and gratitude to the planet, sending healing energies to the planet. And then as you feel ready, I invite you to imagine that your roots begin to unfurrow and untether and begin to retract and grow back up into your body. Knowing that you can reroot whenever you need to, knowing that this grounding energy is available to you at any time, inviting those roots back up into your body. And as the last of the root tendrils grow into your body, I invite you to imagine that from the place where your roots met the ground, a beautiful golden light begins to grow up around you. This light grows and expands until it surrounds you 360 degrees. It grows up all the way around you till each point meets at your crown. This golden earthly light is a protective bubble, a protective shield around you now. This bubble is infused with earthly energy, and it allows that which is in service to your highest good to pass through and penetrate and work with you. And it repels and reflects anything that doesn't serve you. Anything that's not in service to you is repelled and reflected by this beautiful golden light that surrounds you on all sides and above and below. I invite you to take a few breaths here, feeling your autonomy and your sovereignness as you're inside this protective bubble. Allowing your breath to fill this space and surround yourself with your own life force. Take 3 more breaths here. Feeling yourself held by your own creative power. Feeling yourself whole and held by the earth, by divine light. And as you feel ready, I invite you to blink light back into your eyes, coming once again to look around your space, noticing the way your space may shimmer in a different light, noticing any shifts from when we first looked around. Mm. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. Remember that you can root back into this practice at any time, that these medicines are always available to you. And please let me know how this landed for you in the comments. Again, my name is Kristen, and I'm the founder of Roots of Radiance Reiki. I'm an energy healer, a Reiki teacher, and an embodiment coach, and I am thrilled that you joined me on this grounding practice. And if you'd like to work more with me, please schedule a free call so that we can talk about ways that I can help you to reclaim your power, radiate your truth. Bye now, my friends.